Alright, dickheads, welcome back to Practicing Portraits, an artwod roadmap, right? What is artwod? The best platform in the world to teach you how to draw from imagination, and where they give you the work, not the shortcut work that lets you draw like this after 3 years and 8 months. Yeah, almost 3 years and 8 months of practice now, right? Amazing, crazy. Can't believe it's been that long. But yeah, who am I? I'm Viggy. This channel is a repository of my practice, right? My 1 hour, 5 days a week practice, right? And the fundamentals are 90% of my practice, 90 to 95% of my practice. I only understand line, form, and perspective, and barely at that, right? And it truly is to prove that anybody can draw. This whole point of all this, apart from my own art goals, is to prove that anybody can draw through sheer intentional effort, right? And it really doesn't take nowhere near as much as you think it does, but a lot more effort than you will ever believe it does, right? Because the effort is the only thing we can control. So with that being said, what the fuck, that being said, please get your pen, get your paper, and draw along. Let my efforts be a mirror for your own, and let's put in as much effort as we can, because that is the only thing we can control. Right? There's a specific thing I wanted to talk about today. There's always fucking a million specific things I want to talk about, and we all know I'm not going to talk about half of them, or even one of them, because I'm going to be like, oh, my brain, oh, the fucking cross axis, the center lines, all that shit, right? But yeah, please, get your pen, get your paper, draw along, let's do our best, because the best that we can do is the best that we can do, right? And we're on YouTube, so that's relevant, right? But anyways, yeah, what are we doing? I am doing the artwod portrait roadmap, no shit, dipshit, based on the title, right? And what I'm doing is I'm in the section of very early, again, I'm doing 100 times the work artwod requires of you, and I'm taking it to the natural extreme, right? Like, they don't ask you to do this level of like mental model visualization, simulation building, right? Schema consolidation, fucking like seeing to this level. I am taking it to the natural extreme because I'm like, oh, 1 + 1 = 2. If I truly want to understand portraiture, this is the extent of which I shall and I will consolidate and create a visualization, an ability. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at a more portrait reference. I am, and anytime I say pudding, if I do say the word pudding, just know it, just supplement it with calculating / visualizing, right? I'm putting a box, right? I'm calculating a box over the perspective and the accurate perspective, right? I am seeing through the box. I'm seeing the every single diagonal cross axes on the visible and invisible plane. I'm calculating the 3 center planes intersecting with each other. After that, then I'm calculating the diagonal, vertical, and horizontal cross sections inside those 3 center planes. Then I'm calculating the ellipses inside those three center planes, and then I'm encompassing it all in a sphere, right? If that sounds extremely difficult, it is. It's 50 plus calculations, and my brain currently struggles with just seeing through the box and seeing every single visible and invisible diagonal cross section, right? Like when I don't have any mark made on the page. When I do start making marks, obviously the cognitive load is reduced and it's put forward towards seeing the center planes and all that other shit, right? But drawing is thinking. Draftsmanship is thinking, right? And the thinking is the effort we put towards it, right? And constantly like calculating and revising and understanding. This is gonna be even harder for me now because actually, no, it's not bad, holy shit. Because these are obstructions. Usually like when these drawings are in the background, these obstructions get in the way. But already I've started thinking. Like now that I've done my little spiel, right? I've started thinking, and already I'm in discomfort. I'm already in not extreme, but I am trying to lean into extreme discomfort, right? That is the goal for me, is to lean into extreme discomfort. And right now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see through the form. I'm seeing the back, invisible, XYZ, I'll put it here, right? I'm trying to see this, and then I'm trying to see this, right? And this is the box that I'm trying to see through, right? And you can see, like, obviously there's some issues, and I'm trying to see the convergences as well, because I do want some slight convergences, but that is roughly the perspective of the individual that I'm looking at, right? This woman is staring at me, like, why are you staring at me? I'm like, why the fuck did you ask for a picture to be taken if you don't want to be stared at? Huh? That's right. All the narrative I'm creating in my head. But anyways, I am actively, and again, this is already really pushing my brain. Today I'm going to try to draw for as many hours as I can. Not because I believe in the hardcore grinds, I'd be like, oh yeah, like all the hours, all that shit. Like, no. 1 hour, 5 days a week is my general average, right? But just for today, I'm going to try to draw for a few more, purely on the basis that I want to get ahead of my backlog, right? I don't want to be scrambling every day if life happens and I miss a day, right? Then I'm just like, oh no, it's good. It holds me accountable when I am scrambling, but at the same time, I think it's better and more efficient to not scramble. But already like I'm starting to think about and I'm trying to get into the mode where I'm really pushing my discomfort, right? Because right now I'm trying to see the visible XYZ and the invisible XYZ, right? Like this, what I mentioned here, and I'm trying to connect them. And while I'm trying to connect them, I want to get into the habit of making it even more difficult. I don't want to be too comfortable just being like, oh yes, I'm only seeing through the box. No. I'm consistently practicing seeing through the box, and now I'm gonna consistently practice trying to see the diagonal cross sections, right? And what I mean by that is this: visible, right? Invisible, invisible, visible, visible, invisible. That is what I'm practicing in my mind. That's just the first step, but the first step is to be able to see that. And again, I'm also looking at the reference right now. I'm trying to explicitly state, by the way, when I'm narrating while thinking is extremely difficult. I'm using my parietal lobe and I'm using my prefrontal cortex. This is all a working memory skill. I will say this for as often as it, like, I will literally say this forever, but art is a working memory skill. The more you think, the more you actively push the amount of things you can hold in your mind, calculate in your mind, problem solve in your mind, figure out in your mind, whatever the fuck it is. But the more items, the more things you're constantly trying to hold in your mind, the more you're taxing your working memory and the more you're pushing your ability through sheer effort to spatially reason better, right? So, I got a burp. That was a forced one. That wasn't the real one. Well, the real burp, please exit the premises. We're gonna have a problem here. I know the lyrics were incorrect. I don't even know why I just didn't say like come out. Exit the premises, right? Like that doesn't really work. But anyways, I'm looking at the portrait reference and I'm trying to the best of my ability, see the box on on her face, because the box ends basically at like around the bottom of her nose, right? Like roughly around there. So I'm trying to, and this is very difficult. Like I'm struggling a lot right now, and I'm gonna try to ghost it as well as I do this, right? But I'm trying to ghost the box where it should be, because the eyebrow line is the center line, right? The eyebrow line is the center line, right? And I actually need to constantly, this is so beautiful, but just constantly keep re-evaluating the box that I'm making, right? Because the eyebrow line is the center line, right? So, and that's, I guess, the center of the face, right? Center of the box, technically. Not the center of the face, really, but it is the center of the box. And that's a beautiful nuance, is like the eye line technically is the center of the face. But just because with this Loomis model, the Loomis model is this, right? It is, and this is what I'm basing it off of. Like artwod's is going to be slightly different, but I'm obviously going to adapt it to my needs, because this is the schema that I built, and this is the schema that Loomis builds, which is why I'm, again, like Loomis is the fucking one of the goated draftsmen of all time, right? So this is like the proportions, right? And that's the eyebrow line. This is the box that's encompassing it, and then you have like the jaw that's coming out like this, right? But in 3 dimensions, that means the sphere is inside the box, something like this, right? And that can only be based off of the 3 center planes that are intersecting, right? And then the ellipse inside of them, and then the sphere that's encompassing those ellipses. Obviously, that looks like a clusterfuck and it doesn't really make sense. But the point is, that's what it is. But I need to, again, really lean back into, because it's been 7 minutes, but I need to push myself right now into just to be in sheer cognitive discomfort, right? Just extreme cognitive discomfort. That's the name of the game here, is just to constantly be extremely uncomfortable. Now I'm forcing myself, I'm not seeing it well, but I'm forcing myself to see the entire box, right? And it's not correct, but already I'm in extreme discomfort, but I'm forcing myself to see through the entire box, right? And my brain cannot see the other side. It can see this side, but it can't see this invisible side, right? Yet, which is why you must force it. You must literally consistently push this ability to try and see it. Now I'm feeling the pit of discomfort in my stomach, right? I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the pit of discomfort in my stomach, and this is great. And now I'm just about, and I need to bring this box over here because I guess I drew that too close, but I'm just about seeing the entirety of it. Now I'm not forcefully, but I'm attempting to visualize the calculations. And while I'm like the cross axis, sorry, the invisible diagonal cross sections on every single plane, right? The visible and invisible plane. And while I'm doing this, the box is tilting. It's tilting like this. It's going completely wrong, right? I'm losing the other side completely, and this is beautiful. These are the errors that I attach dopamine to. This is what I feel good about. And it's about being aware of the errors as well, which is why learning is a constant focused effort. And focus is a skill that you can 100% are capable of building. Like everything I'm saying right now, I believe everybody's capable of doing, but it's just extremely difficult. Therefore, it is a volatile experience, right? You're never stable. There's no stability here. Even right now, like the box really wants to tilt this way, but it's actually pretty fucking straight, right? And I'm just trying to hold this to the best of my ability while trying to think about the perspective that has been established with this woman's face, right? And I'm not looking at it right now. I'm just visualizing this box, right? And this is the thinking that I'm building. Like, and again, now I'm gonna really lean in and just purely, not even like ghost, but just try to see the entire box, like see through the entire box. And I'm just trying to calculate all the schemas, not the schemas, what the fuck, the visible and invisible cross axes. This is the warm-up part of my drawings too, right? Like this is the warm-up part about the session in general. There you go. That was the burp. That was waiting to be released. But this is the warm-up part. So I'm already like it's losing. It's completely fucking like everything's diverging. I've basically lost the entire structural integrity of the seen-through box, let alone the diagonal cross sections. But I'm trying to bring it back, right? Bring it back. Trying to hold it. Really trying to hold it, right? And I'm trying to see the diagonal cross sections, right? In my mind, I'm trying to calculate them. I'm trying to actively calculate these diagonal cross sections, right? Okay. And now my eyes are warm because I was really fucking trying, and that's how it works, right? And that was just a warm up. So, like, I mean, I can tell my brain's getting warmed up. Like, as I continue to do throughout the session, it just gets more and more clear. It still oscillates, and I was an output regression there, which is when your glycogen reserves are completely used up, which is why you have to rest your brain. So please, I encourage you to rest your brain. Okay, so I guess I'll try. I'll do my best to talk about what I wanted to talk about, right? Which is, what does trying look like? Because I want to keep constantly, what the fuck? I want to continue and consistently and constantly inform my audience, right? The audience that I do have, right now. And like, it's most likely going to be people in the future that this is going to be resonating with more. And again, see how I keep drawing the visible XYZ, right? I want to avoid that. I want to start with the invisible XYZ, like that. That's actually what I want to start with, because that will force me to see through the box, right? That's what's going to force me to really see through the box, like this, right? And that is the perspective. That is actually pretty fucking close. And again, like, the goal is for any perspective initially, like before I even put a line down on the page, to see this. Because again, once I can see this clearly from any angle, immediately when starting to like draw, that is a schema that is so solid. Like at that point, like that's really all I need, you know? And it will get better, it will get much easier than to be like, oh, okay, and like this as well. Then be like, oh, okay, well then like now I can easily just connect these three center planes, right? And then I can easily just connect, or like create the diagonal cross sections and the center lines inside of those center planes, and then easily I can create the sphere, or like the ellipses inside those, right? Based on that. And then I can easily create the sphere which encompasses this, right? And then it's like, oh, okay, and then that's where the fucking Loomis head is coming out, right? Something like that. I don't know what because the jaw is a manipulated box. I'm not very intimately aware, or I'm barely aware. So like, I'm not really gonna speak on that yet, but that's how it works, right? And this is the eyebrow line. But anyways, what was I gonna say? Like, what? Okay, I want to give my audience, I want to give the people who watch, who draw along with me, right? I want to give you always the right frame, and there is a right frame. There's a wrong frame, mindset, framework, approach, the way to think about things when you're learning, and there's a right way. There is a right and wrong. There's no subjectivity here, right? The subjectivity is in your experience, but the objectivity is in your approach, right? Does that make sense, right? And your approach, this approach has like a good amount of leeway. I want to say, like, this approach does have leeway. Like, the approach is not rigid, but the framework is, I believe it's a necessary rigidity, right? And while I'm talking about this, something completely unrelated, I'm going to, let me just take a step back, because I don't even know if I'm capable of fucking speaking about this while visualizing, but actively trying to see through the entire box right now. Actively trying to see through it, right? And this is incredibly difficult because I'm trying to see through the entire box and I'm trying to see the... Oh, like I see like it started here and then it went down here. So let's try that again. I'm trying to see the box, right? Trying to hold the entire thing together, constantly losing every plane. But now I'm just trying to do this, right? Trying to... And this is where like I feel the pit of discomfort in my stomach. I'm trying to hold it all together. These drawings in the background are complete obstructions. Whew. But now that I'm doing this, I must think with a level of clarity that is of a benefit to me. What a fucking shock. But I must genuinely, like, because I'm losing this back plane, I'm losing the front plane, I'm losing the side plane, but I don't have the top plane at all, the visible top plane. But... And this is like, I'm extremely uncomfortable. My stomach is churning right now, right? Because I'm really pushing the limits of what I can do. And I'm trying to constantly think. And I'm not going to ghost anymore. I'm just going to think to the best of my ability. And this, again, these drawings in the background are obstructions. They're fucking with my ability to visualize the angle that I need to visualize. Right? But I know I said I wouldn't ghost anymore, but I'm going to try to just see this a little bit better. Right? Okay, and then it's connecting here. This is the front plane, this is the back plane. There you go, that was the burp that was waiting. And I'm gonna try to ghost slower as well. And I can barely see, like I'm in genuine output regression. And now while I can barely see, I'm gonna try my absolute fucking best to see the cross sections. And this is incredibly difficult. And again, this drawing in the background is an absolute obstruction. Okay. Oh, that was very difficult. Take a step back. My eyes are fucking burning. Like how much energy I'm using. Again, this is when you're like astrocytic glycogen is being depleted like this by the parietal lobe, by the prefrontal cortex, as I'm narrating it. And I hope my narration provides some benefit. But yeah, the right framework, it's like, what does trying look like? Trying, and what does it feel like? Trying feels like what I just displayed, which is you're trying to think about so many things. You're really accurately trying to think and calculate and understand, but you will not be able to. And that friction is what trying feels like. That's what learning feels like, is that friction between trying to consolidate and hold the information, and this is in particular to spatial reasoning, but this applies to everything, fucking composition, design, line work, line weight, what's it called, figure, anatomy, perspective, form, and what other fucking bullshit is there, values, right? Like so many things in art, so many fundamentals, right? But it applies to everything, because they're all thinking. These are all thinking skills, right? Art is a thinking skill. You're, again, like fucking, I'm gonna quote this again, because I did it yesterday, like Michelangelo literally said, a painter is only as good as his brain, right? Maybe I'm probably paraphrasing, but that's literally what he said. Right, so you're really only as good as your thinking. You really are only as good as your thinking, right? And your thinking is only as good as the effort you put in to think, right? So let me try again. So like that's, I guess I kind of sped run what I wanted to talk about, but that really is what it feels like. And right now I'm looking at the portrait reference and I'm trying to really understand exactly where or how this woman's face is oriented in space. Right? And this is the difficult part. This is the beautiful difficulty. Oh my god, my stomach is like, dude, it's so much discomfort. But this is the beautiful difficulty about learning, right? And I'm like shifting the box down a little bit. But this truly is the beautiful, beautiful fucking difficulty of learning. And now that I have a somewhat full box, and again, my mind just tilted this way. Why? Because look at the background drawing. It's tilted this way. So I have to be like, fuck off. To actively ignore that is a skill, right? To actively ignore, essentially, background obstructions in this case. They're just drawings that are, like obstructions that are just getting in the way of the calculation. I lost the entire calculation because that distracted me. That fucked with my thing. So like, again, focusing and reconstructing is a skill. And just for a second, I see it. So I need to hold on to that. I need to hold on to this. And I need to, immediately I'm trying to visualize every single diagonal cross section. That's the invisible. That's the visible. That's the visible. Visible. Invisible. Invisible. Right? And I'm really trying to ignore this drawing. Like this drawing in the background. and I'm trying to see this, and I'm trying to calculate it in my mind as properly as I can. I'm losing everything. I'm literally losing everything. The top plane, the top visible plane is getting fucked. Like I can't see the bottom invisible plane, right? I'm constantly trying to see it, right? Constantly trying to see it. And I had it for a split second, but it's gone now because this is an angle that all these angles are difficult. Like just in general, like I can't even say this is an angle I haven't practiced because I have, but this is just difficult. It's just a difficult skill. And I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna rest my brain. I'm gonna try again. And this is all of today. Today I'm just gonna be drawing. So I'm just going to literally just push my capabilities, right? And this is beautiful. Like this is a good thing, you know. Like this is, and that's what I want to say. Like I understand how difficult this friction is. Like I want you to be very, very like look how explicitly I understand. Like this is what I'm trying to fucking see in my mind. Apart from the facial features, like this schema, these. And like over here, I start putting it in gray, right? But like these dozens of the center planes and all that shit, but like these literally dozens of calculations is what I'm trying to consolidate into one fused mental model. And to the onlooker, and to those of you who maybe like are passively being like, he's still doing that, huh? Yes, and it will be another year that I'll be doing this and slowly getting better at it. But just like with the boxes and cylinders, where it took me 600 hours until there was literally before and after with the boxes and cylinders, where it took me like, it was day after day after day after day after day, and months and months and months and months, where literally months, like fucking, like I think 14 fucking months, right? Or like 12 months or some shit, right? 14 months where I just could, like I literally could not, like I had to actively put an effort to see a box or a plane and then the ellipse or the cylinder inside of it, right? Active effort to constantly calculate that. 14 months of that every single fucking day, or like 5 days a week. And then it's like a week after that, I just saw it, right? Because it got consolidated, it got chunked. My brain was actively constantly working in the background, and then it just got chunked. And after that, I've always been able to see it. Like right now, I can just see a fucking box with a cylinder inside of it. I can see that. I can see it here. I can see it at a different angle here. Yeah, I can see multiple here. I can see about like, yeah, I can see about 8. What is that, 8? Yeah, I can see 8 in a different angle. I rotated it. Now I can see the bottom, right? Yeah, like I can see it. That's the point. And I calculate it, and it's just there. And it's like it takes no effort. But it took 6 fucking hundred hours of effort to get to this point where I'm like, hey, it takes no effort, it takes no effort. So same shit with this, right? So what I'm trying to say is like to the onlookers, you'll be like, the casuals will be like, I don't care if this is boring. The onlookers will be curious, like those who are a bit more serious. And those of you who are practicing along with me, you're probably like very explicitly aware, and I hope you're explicitly aware that like, oh, like this is what, like he's literally explicitly, I'm saying the word explicit a lot, but he's outwardly showing like what consistent, slow practice for hundreds of hours with no guaranteed reward or benefit to be reaped at the end looks like, apart from the sheer belief that you will figure it out, right? So with that being said, very inspirational, very good, very good. Rest your brain, please, rest your brain. Trying, by the way, like as an aside, as another thing, trying also does explicitly look like as a framework of being constantly aware of what you're incapable of doing, right? And that ties into what you're trying to do, right? I know that right now I'm incapable of just seeing the box. I'm incapable of holding this back plane. I'm capable of having the top plane look extremely visible. I know I'm capable of seeing it vaguely, but I'm not capable of seeing it clearly, right? I'm not able to visualize this properly. Okay, just for a second I see the box. So you have to lean into this because I see the box now, right? So just for a second I see the box, and I'm trying to see, I'm trying to hold this. I'm trying to hold this, and I'm trying to see every single visible and invisible cross section, right? And I'm trying to see it. I'm trying to hold it to the best of my ability, right? And it's gone. But now, like, this is the part where I have to bring it back. Be like, you saw it, so that means it was there, which means you can bring it back. And this is the part where you have to be aware. It's like, okay, this is what I can't do. I'm gonna lean into trying to doing it. I'm gonna lean into trying to see it. Like, I literally have to lean into it, right? And I actually had the wrong angle. You know, I was doing this type of box. What was I doing? I was doing this. Like, this was my box. It was wrong. It needs to be like this. right? That's what it needs to be like. So again, the angle is completely incorrect. So that's constantly just beautiful errors. And this is the only thing we do is like you attach dopamine to these mistakes. And again, I'm looking at the portrait reference again. I'm trying to really understand how it's laid out, right? Okay. I don't know why I said okay. Okay. Okay, not okay. So funny. But anyways, I'm trying to make sure that like I got the angle relatively correct. Let's just see here. Yeah, okay. So again, and all I was doing is literally looking at the portrait reference. I was squinting one eye, and I was just like trying to put her head in a box in the appropriate location, size, placement, and proportions. Right? All very difficult to do. But back to it, I'm trying to recall. Again, recall is very important. I'm trying to recall and I need to go slower. I'm trying to, because I do need to ghost slower, right? I'm trying to recall the angle that I saw for the box, right? And this is where I actually need a little bit of convergence back here. So this back plane is a bit larger. Something like this. I'm trying to hold all this together. Like I'm still trying to hold all of it together whilst okay, now I've relatively constructed it. I don't think it's accurate, but I've relatively constructed it, right? And now I just need to, again, see the entire box, and I'm trying to calculate, because one thing I'm already noticing is like the top plane I'm making too short. Like the width is like this. It should be a little bit longer, right? Little bit longer, but my brain is making it this width, this shallow, but it needs to have a little bit more depth, right? Because with this depth is where I can foreshorten or like add some convergence, right? Like that doesn't even look right to me, but what I'm trying to say is like it's something more closer to this, right, where it needs to have more convergence such that the box actually looks a bit more like it has a bit more depth. But I think that's also because this box needs to be a little bit taller as well. There you go. Maybe something like that will help with the depth. I don't know. It's still very difficult to figure out boxes. Like I still don't even understand boxes yet, right? Like it's, especially to the intimacy that I want to have with, you know, I want to get right in the bed. I want to snuggle up on a queen size bed. King is too expensive. So, but this is exactly what it takes to be even mediocre, right? So again, I'm trying to see through the box. This is very difficult. Again, I'm trying to see the invisible side, right? And now I'm trying to see the visible. And this is extremely difficult because I can't even see this visible XYZ. But now I'm trying to hold it together, and again, trying to see. I'm just not even ghosting. I'm just trying to calculate the invisible and visible diagonal cross sections on the planes, like on the visible, like on the invisible and visible planes, right? Trying to calculate the cross sections, the diagonal cross sections on the invisible and visible planes. And it's extremely fucking taxing. Like I'm genuinely trying so hard, but I'm also in output regression right now, right? So I'm just trying to see it and visualize it and calculate it and like get a semblance of an idea of it while making sure that the box itself makes sense, right? And I do think the box needs more depth. So I might actually, like if I look at the reference again, right? Like it does need a little bit more depth, I believe, right? Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to think right now. I'm just trying to figure it out. Okay. So again, what I was doing is I was just looking at the portrait, squinting one eye and just trying to like create a tiny little perspective box over her head, right? And like just to try to get the proportions down. So I'm going to lean into that one more time. And then the next time we're just going to try to, we're going to start drawing the box, right? But like this time I'm just going to lean into it and just try to see the entirety of the box, right? Which I'm doing right now. That's why I'm ghosting it. Trying to see the entirety of the box, trying to see the center line. And okay, I see it. I'm gonna need to hold this. This is the feeling I need to hold on to. Already like it's breaking, but I'm trying to hold on to this and I'm trying to see the invisible cross section. Invisible, visible, invisible, visible, invisible, invisible, and then visible. And again, this drawing in the background is really getting in the way, but I'm leaning into this. I'm in extreme discomfort, and I'm genuinely just trying to see this box and seeing through it. And like, I'm constantly losing everything. I want to be very clear. I'm losing all the planes. I'm losing, like, everything's diverging. It's tilting this way because that box is causing it, the box in the background is causing it to tilt that way. I'm trying to see everything at once. And right now, like, just the attempt to see everything at once, this is sheer output regression and sheer discomfort because I cannot see everything at once. Right? Emphasis on the not see. But I can't see everything at once. I genuinely can't see everything at once. But I'm trying. I'm forcing my brain to the best of its ability to see through the box and to see every single invisible diagonal cross section on the planes. Okay. Yeah, and yeah, I was in output regression. My astrocytic glycogen was completely depleted, and now I'm gonna rest my brain to replenish it for the next session or for the next attempt, right? So half an hour, what has he done? Nothing visually, but everything internally, right? I've done hundreds of repetitions and hundreds of mistakes in my mind, right? So drawing is thinking, and the more complicated the schema, the more thinking it's going to require, right? But yeah, like, obviously in the beginning, I guess I'll draw it here because I don't want to keep bastardizing the other page, but in the beginning, like, you will be spending more time just, like, if you're trying to calculate an ellipse, right? It's going to be something like this. You're going to be like thinking very explicitly. You're going to be making a lot of the mistakes. And this is way faster than what I was doing, by the way, right? And then you're going to be like, oh, well, I was visualizing this, right? And I was visualizing this, right? And I was visualizing this, and I was visualizing this. And then I was trying to create the ellipse that is going off of those, right? Like so. There you go. Okay, I want the box now. Okay, I visualize while I'm trying to hold all of that in my mind, right? I'm trying to make sure that the back of this, and that was really wrong because you can see, like, even now I overextended, and it's, yeah, see, overextended there, but it's like, oh, I was trying to visualize the box at the back. And this is just the point I'm trying to make, is like, this is easier to me now, but it's still not easy, right? Okay, that's the box. Right, and this is like very mild convergence, like very little convergence. You know, if it was more realistic, that probably would have made it converge out a little bit more, like there, right? And then it would have been much wider at the back. But yeah, like, there's still a lot to learn. But the point is, like, this is much easier to me now, and obviously I could draw the centers and all that shit, but it takes time. I don't even know what I'm trying to say with that, but I'm just saying that, like, it is always just thinking while drawing. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm doing way more thinking than drawing right now because the schema is much more complicated. But when it was just the box and the cylinder, right? And the fact of the matter is, when I was drawing the ellipses back then in the planes or the cylinders in the boxes, I wasn't thinking about those cross sections. I wasn't thinking about that. I'm thinking about it now because I've built hundreds of hours of over 100 hours of ability to think about it now. But back then it was just the plane and, like, trying to figure out my own logic for how the ellipse fit in there. I literally didn't even think about. I only just fucking a week ago I was like, oh shit, true, it does align with the cross sections. But that's only comes with hindsight and experience, right? So yeah, maybe I'm not making a explicit sense. Explicit, right? Keep fucking saying that word. You want to sound like a smart man, you just use these words, the 7 letters, I believe. I don't know, I didn't count, but either way, let's rest our brain, Jesus. All right, wonderful. Let us continue. Right, but the thing is, like, I don't know how to say this. It's just, I really don't know how to say this, but, like, it really is just the effort. Like, this is what trying feels like. It's just you're trying to do the same shit every day, and for the longest time, it's gonna be very manual. It's gonna be used a lot of manual brain energy, a lot of manual motor energy, like your motor cortex, right? Like, it's gonna be very, very manual, right? Until it isn't. you know? And that's the only way I can give you some solace. And that's why the effort is the reward. Because how much time, like how long are you realistically gonna keep focusing? And while I'm drawing this, I'm already thinking, right? But how, like realistically, how much can you really keep focusing on the result, right? Especially if you become very aware of the fact that it simply is going to take a shit ton of time. Like really, how long can one truly focus on the result without going insane when they're doing the same thing over and over? Like you have no oh, fuck me, the battery's low on the iPad, and we plug it in. Fucking god damn it, plug that shit in. There you go. Right, and like genuinely, like how long can you focus on the result, right? Because you will go insane. Like you objectively will go insane if you don't find a way to be and this might be actually a bit too much of an angle, right? Yeah, you literally will go insane if you don't find a way to. And by the way, while I'm talking, I'm drawing, right? And while I'm drawing, I'm thinking. So while I'm talking, I'm thinking, right? I'm thinking explicitly. I'm already seeing through the form, right? And like I'm starting with again the invisible X, Y, and Z, right? Like that's what I've been trying to think about, and I'm trying to make sure that this has a decent amount of convergence. And you'll see my lines do need a lot of work. Like they're very thick, right? And they're very wobbly, but that's again a skill. It's all skills all the way down, right? And even here, while I'm drawing this, I am thinking actively about the seen through form. Like I'm thinking about this side, and again, and the thing is like that's not enough. So I need to lean in even further, and I need to think even more about the diagonal cross sections, right? The diagonal cross sections. You know, that's what I need to think even more about. Did I even get this right? Is this even converging? Yeah, it is converging slightly, but not as well as I wanted to, but it is converging. And now, like while I'm looking here, like while I'm literally just looking here, I'm already thinking about this cross section, this cross section, this cross section, this top one, right? I'm trying to think about the bottom one as well, and that's just an active effort on my end, right? But like this beautiful feeling of friction that I'm experiencing right now, like this genuinely is, and I mean genuinely, like this is the point, right? Like this is the point. This is the point, and this it can't be anything apart from this as the point, right? Because when you resign yourself to the reality, right? Not the harsh truth and all, because like people you have two options, right? When you realize that like, oh, this is gonna take hundreds of hours, you know, to even be mildly proficient, you have two options, which is to be like, you know, overwhelming despair, I guess, if I'm gonna be very if I'm gonna dramatize it, right? Oh no, oh, I can't believe it, oh my god, oh, like all that shit. Or just being like, okay, I have to retrain myself to enjoy it. So what am I doing right now? I've drawn the box, right? And it's relatively accurate, I would say. It is relatively accurate. I think, yeah, this top could have been a bit more angled, like this one. It could have been more like this, right? And if you can't see the difference between this and this, that means your eye has the opportunity to be improved, right? But either way, like it's a bit more angled than that, but and that's a beautiful mistake. But right now, like I'm just taxing the fuck out of my brain. I'm really leaning into, like, because I've drawn the box, so now it's much easier. I've reduced like fucking 80% of the cognitive load when it comes to just visualizing the box of this scale, because I've already drawn everything apart from the invisible X, Y, and Z, right? Like everything is drawn, so that's the invisible planes. But now I can now really push my brain, and let me get rid of this pen because that's the good pen, right? I can now push my brain, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna lean in, and not only am I gonna visualize the invisible XYZ, or not fucking XYZ, the invisible XYZ, but the invisible diagonal cross sections or cross axes on these planes. I'm actively going to also start, and this is beautiful, because now, like, before I even said what I'm gonna say, I started thinking about it. I'm gonna actively start visualizing the center planes cutting through it, right? This one, and it's cutting through the diagonal cross, it's cutting through the center, right? That's why we need to visualize the diagonal cross sections, and like the horizontal one as well. And this is beautiful because my brain's getting better at slowly, while visualizing them individually, not together, because it's still very difficult to visualize them all together, the three center planes. My brain hasn't consolidated that schema yet, but I need to brute force that into existence, right? We brute force that into existence. we need to like my brain's getting better at like recognizing that no matter where I make the line, there is a diagonal cross section that's following. So it's constantly reinforcing that you need to be able to see the planes accurately, like these invisible planes accurately. So I am going to now just, and I'm going to try to explicitly verbalize this as much as I can, but perhaps it's going to be very difficult, but I'll do my best. I'm just going to not even ghost or anything. I'm just going to visualize the invisible, like I'm going to visualize seeing through the entire box. I'm going to visualize every single diagonal cross section. That's what I'm doing right now, right? And see, it's already so much more difficult when I'm not ghosting because I don't have this as a constant reassurance, right? I don't have this action as a constant reinforcer, as the bridge between my motor cortex and my prefrontal cortex, right? So now my astrocytic glycogen is working even more over time. It's being utilized even more by my parietal lobe, right? To just purely visualize. So I'm visualizing that. I'm now actively forcing myself to visualize all the diagonal cross section at the same time, right? And I'm not seeing it all at the same time, but like the point is, no matter where I look, I'm forcing myself to see it and try to zoom out and to see it all at once as well. And I'm doing that right now. I'm actually forcing myself to see it all at once. It's just like literally think about it, all 6 planes with visible and invisible, with all their relevant calculated diagonal cross sections. And it's extremely difficult because I'm trying to hold it as a consolidated unit in my mind. And with that, I am now going to actively also try to calculate the 3 center planes. And holy shit, I didn't do it all at once, but I did each one individually, one after the other in succession, quickly. And that is a huge progress. I also want to say, like, it's happening easier here because this is a very familiar angle to me. Like most artists who start learning perspective, like once they get decently proficient, like this is like the comfort angle, right? So I want to say, like, this wasn't intentionally chosen as a comfort angle. It was just chosen because it was different. It was from a different angle. It was a top down, and that's something like I basically do like bottom left, top right, bottom, and then this like bottom right, top left, or whatever, right? Like I constantly oscillate between all the 4 different general angles in my portrait references. But either way, like while I'm talking, I'm thinking, but. And I'm thinking about this center plane, right? This center plane. I'm thinking about, and like I'm trying to hold that all at once. I'm trying to hold all the diagonal cross sections in that center plane. While I'm trying to hold that, I'm going to think about this horizontal center plane going through. Yeah, there you go. This horizontal center plane. And like I could barely hold the vertical one. While I'm trying to hold those 2 now, I'm gonna think about this vertical center plane. Oh my god! Now I'm trying to hold all of those together. And it's incredibly difficult, and this is beautiful, this difficulty. And again, the bottom plane is like, it's caving in too much. Like this back line is converging like this. It's converging way too fast. So I need to hold all that together. And again, I'm losing everything constantly. I'm oscillating, I'm shifting, I'm constantly bringing my focus back to... There you go, that was the burp that I've been holding in for the past 40 minutes, Jesus Christ. And I just need to lean into this, and I need to see everything. I need to lean into it and see everything as much as I can. Okay. Oh, my eyes are literally fucking burning. All right, let's rest our brains, please and thank you. All right, fuck it. Again, we're back. See? So it really is just all thinking, and I want to be very explicitly clear, right? I need to stop saying the word explicitly clear, but the phrase, but I guess that's just how I speak, right? Again, for those of you wondering, why the fuck, and this, again, like I'm basically like what I do is I'm a guy yelling at a piece of paper every single day in my parents' basement. So like I want to contextualize that, right? I'm going fucking insane, man. I can't do it anymore, man. But anyways, I obviously come up with scenarios in my head in terms of like people might ask this, people might say this, because nobody fucking comments on my channel, nobody says anything, and the people that do, like thank you, I appreciate you, and I do usually respond, right? I've actually been really shit at responding as of late, but I try to respond. But like because I'm just creating, like I'm creating questions that will probably be asked because I know that what this practice looks like to the fucking idiot beginner, right? Because you're an idiot, you're a beginner, you don't know anything, you have no idea what I'm doing. But this, you just want the results. So this just looks like random bullshit to you, right? So again, I want to be very clear, spatial reasoning, and the more you understand the more that I'm creating a mental 3D model. I'm literally creating a fucking blender simulation in my brain, right? That's what I'm creating. I'm creating a blender simulation in my fucking brain, right? At all angles, and projecting it onto the page. Like that's the level of draftsmanship that I'm aspiring and aiming and working towards, right? And you might be wondering, well, how does that translate? It translates like this because I don't draw this. I literally haven't. I put fucking maybe 20 hours of mannequin practice last year. 2 years ago now, in 2024, I put 20 hours of mannequin practice. I haven't practiced mannequins since then. And yes, you can see, like, yeah, of course I can tell he hasn't practiced mannequins because that shoulder blade's completely off. Like, this looks fucking retarded. Like, there's a lot of things that are off. But the point is, like, A, I'm gonna get better at it. But B, I've been able to create believable scenes. I looked at a shopping cart once, and I drew it twice, half a year ago. And this is, like, off perspective, of course, but it looks kind of like a shopping cart, like shape, right? I've been looking at bikes when I go on drives, right? Again, what the point I'm trying to make is the more complexity you can geometrically, spatially reason, or just spatially reason, the more complexity you can apply to your stress tests, your practice, your imagination drawings, the things that you do to test yourself to be like, do I know what the fuck I'm doing? And the answer is yes. The more complexity you can create in your mind, the more complexity you can apply to real life, right? Like this has a lot of issues, but the point is, like, this is the 10% practice, and this and everything, and it's all cataloged on my fucking channel. It's sequentially cataloged, and I have a year 1 to 2 playlist, year 3 playlist, year 4 playlist. It's all in order. It's literally all in fucking order. My streams are the only fucking outlier, which is this. My streams, which are fucking 10% of my practice, is this, to be like, oh shit, like, this is how he applies himself when he does that, right? But this very difficult spatial reasoning is what allows me to focus on more difficult things like gesture composition, line weight, fucking perspective, focus, like design, all that shit, but think very little about like form in and of itself. Right, like my form is generally intuitive here, but everything surrounding that, designing it, composing it, introducing scale, right, having things like actually work together and look like they exist together, right, like that is what my brain thinks about, because I'm still actively thinking a lot, but I'm off. But all the work I do here is what makes this a lot more intuitive in terms of like my actual form understanding, right? But yeah, like that is how it translates, right? It's never the other way around. Doing this a shit ton is not going to make me better at geometric spatial reasoning, but doing a fuck ton of geometric spatial reasoning, because it is spatial reasoning, it's calculations, it's references, it's constantly like inferring and explicitly seeing spatial relations next to other spatial relations and then calculating them and holding multiple at the same time, is what results in me being able to look at this, be like, a horizon line's here, we're gonna have some scale here, we're gonna fucking curvilinear, try to curvilinear it this way, right? Like I'm gonna have like a scene back here, like I can see all that, I can have an idea, and I know exactly roughly like how I can compose it, because it's still spatial relations, right? So yeah, like that is how it works. That is literally how it works, okay? So the more complexity you can do, the more complexity you can break down, understand, and reconstruct on paper, right? Obviously, I'm trying to be as simple as possible with these drawings now, because I was being way more complex earlier, and that's, I personally believe, to my detriment. It's like, just because I can do complexity doesn't mean I shouldn't try to simplify in order for the complexity to take a backseat and for the actual composition of the piece and everything surrounding that to be at the forefront of my thinking, right? As well as like having clear, readable designs. But that's a whole different thing. That's a whole different skill, and that's a whole different element of thinking. But the better my spatial reasoning has gotten, the better I've been able to put cognitive energy towards that, right? But anyways, I'm back to seeing through the form. Right, I'm back to seeing through the form. I'm constantly zooming out, and okay, wow, just for a split second, not even for a split second, I actually see everything now. I literally see through the form. I see this back section, I see this one, I see this one. Okay, so we need to hold on to seeing all of this, and there you go. Now I'm trying to see the center lines. Holy shit, it's actually working. It's happening. It's beginning to breathe, right? But I'm trying to see these center planes, not the center line, sorry. I'm trying to see the center planes, and this needs to be, I don't know why I said boy like that, but this needs to be back here, right? And I need to start involving the ellipses, right? I need to start involving the center lines. So like for this one, I need to start calculating this. And then for this one, right, you start calculating this. Same shit. And then like obviously for the horizontal one, same thing, start calculating this, right? So let's do that. let's fucking do that, right? Okay. So let's, again, try to see through the box, try to see every single diagonal cross section, right? Invisible plane and the visible plane, right? And it's already like the bottom is like already like this line back here is already fucking disjointed. This invisible Y axis, right? It's already like disjointed. It's like this when it needs to be like this. right? It needs to be a lot straighter, right? Where they meet. And then you see like how I went a bit too low, so I need to bring it back up. And you think about like where they actually connect, right? And now just sheer brute force, hold it all together, right? Hold it all together and see the invisible and visible diagonal cross sections on the planes. And then sheer brute force, visualize the center planes while holding all that together. This is extremely difficult. This is the part where my brain is gonna constantly like fizzle out, for lack of a better word, right? Like this is the maximum working capacity of my brain, and this is what I need to constantly push past to be like, no, it is not your maximum. You will consolidate, you will chunk, and I will attach dopamine to these errors, right? Like this is the beautiful part of learning. And like now already, like I saw it clearly 30 seconds ago, now I see nothing, right? Because output regressions already started to happen because I'm introducing fucking another dozen calculations with the 3 center planes and then trying to visualize and calculate their center lines, diagonal, horizontal, and vertical. So like all 3 of those, right? And my brain is like actively just being like, we can't fucking do this. And I'm actively being like, yes, you fucking can. Shut the fuck up. You will, right? Is it actually gonna do it? Probably not. But am I gonna force it to try to do it to the best of my ability? Absolutely yes, right? So this center plane, see, that's a diagonal, vertical, horizontal, and then this is the ellipse that I have to think about, right? Like that's the ellipse. And then same thing here, right? This one. See, like I'm already getting it not centered properly, but this is why I have to keep constantly thinking about these center planes or these diagonal cross sections, right? And then we get, okay, see, so I got that, and then this is the diagonal, and then vertical, horizontal, and this is my, let's see, this is my ellipse. This is my ellipse, roughly around here. And then for the front one, this front one's gonna be a lot easier because it's so much more explicit and like so much more like apparent, right? Explicit. I keep saying it fucking 10 more times. Maybe then people will think you're smart, right? But, and this is the most, see, my brain's already like fucking, it's like redlining, right? Because I'm think about it this way. What I'm doing right now and what spatial reasoning practice is, like to the effort that I'm putting it as, right? Is, and while I'm talking, I'm thinking about this very clearly, right? Like to the best of my ability. But what it is imagine you have Minecraft open and you have shaders open on Minecraft, but you also have Diablo 3 on in the background, and you also have 14 other fucking games playing at the same time, and you're running a goddamn like what is it, like a stress test of your CPU, right? And at the same time you have 500 Chrome tabs open. That's basically the equivalent of what I'm doing to my mind, right? Maybe it's a bit hyperbolic, right? Is that how you pronounce it? Hyperbolic, right? But like it's a bit exaggerated. But the point is like that is the extent of which my brain is in extreme discomfort, right? And I'm trying to actively, and I'm really pushing in. Like I'm trying to see all 3 center planes with their diagonal cross sections and their vertical and horizontal cross sections and the ellipses inside of them all at once, right? And now I'm trying to hold those 3 ellipses to the best of my ability at the same time. And now here we get the sphere. And it's actually working. Like it's very, I'd say I see about 30% of like the sphere, because I'm connecting it with the edges of the ellipses, right? But I'm actually seeing about like a rough 30%, which is huge, by the way, which is huge for me. Like I'm seeing a roughly 30%. It's getting lower and lower, obviously, as time goes on, and now it's like, once I get to this side, it's basically gone, which is why I need to take a step back and be like, okay, what is happening? Yeah, right, like what is happening here? And then connecting it there, roughly. So like, it's inaccurate. I'm gonna try to hold this just again for another like 20 seconds. I'm gonna try to hold everything together, right? Like the seen through box, the invisible XYZ, right? The diagonal cross sections, the center planes with their vertical, horizontal, diagonal cross sections, and then the ellipses inside of them, and then the sphere encompassing that. That's the entire schema, right? I'm gonna try to hold that to the best of my ability, and it's already fucking like, it's already going all over the place, but, and by holding it, I mean, I'm gonna try to hold and constantly calculate it, right? Like, cause I don't have it as a fused schema. It's not one consolidated unit yet. There are like around 4, there are easily like minimum 7 to 8 different components that are just relatively consolidated, individually being attached inside this in my mind and on the page, right? Like, and it's my job to try to like fuse them all together. But that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to really really hold again, like see through the box, see the diagonal cross sections. I'm trying to introduce the center planes again, right? Now I'm trying to introduce the center plane. You can see my speech is getting very stilted because my glycogen reserves are at their absolute fucking capabilities. My parietal lobe is fucking screaming, right? And this, and like, well, again, I'm trying to see the center planes, and this is like fucking, this is amazing. This is the effort, this is the dopamine that I'm attaching. This is what I'm feeling good about, making all these mistakes. And while this is happening, I'm trying to see all three center planes at the same time, right? And now I'm trying to see all three ellipses inside the center planes, and that's being calculated by being able to intersect those three center planes with the vertical, horizontal, and diagonal cross sections, right? And that's already like barely happening, right? I've already lost seeing through the box. So once I'm trying to do that, I've already lost seeing through the box, and I'm trying to see the sphere connecting it all. And I didn't do it, but I tried to do it, and it was like fucking 2% success, barely. 2% success of like 2% of the sphere, of like 2% of the ellipses. So like trickle down fuckery of just shit. But you feel good, because you really tried. We all trying today. But anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. It's already been 55 minutes, goddamn. And now I'm gonna try to hold that again, that entire fuckery. I'm gonna try to hold that as much as I can. And then we're gonna draw this woman's face, right? We're gonna actually like draw it. So should be fun. It is fun. Like, this is amazing effort. I'm really happy. Like, this is just gotta keep going. But again, this like I've only gotten this far because this is an easier angle. You know what I mean? Like, not even an easy angle, but like an easier angle, like a very comfortable angle for me to even think about these calculations, right? Like, I struggled much more with these other angles because these are all like unorthodox, tilted, like we don't really see, like I don't really see, or like I haven't learned or trained my eye to see these schemas in these perspectives, right? But this is, yeah, my 29th hour, technically 25th hour of this actual proper schema, right? And technically only fourth hour with this new added fuckery, right? Like this, like with the cross sections, 1, 2, 3, 4th, yeah. But either way, let me rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well, and then we will continue, right? We will continue. This is why I love drawing, man. The fact that the human mind can actually spatially reason to this extent. Like, think about it. We should all be so grateful. We should be groveling at the feet of Andrew Loomis. Hold up, I'm just fixing my chair. Anyways, we should be licking his feet, right? That's what I was saying. Oh yeah, we should be licking his feet. We should be, genuinely, we should be really appreciative of the fact that us as humans have the ability to do this, right? I'm sure dipshits will still call this talent, right? They will look at, in the future, thousands of hours of irrefutable evidence, right, of sheer effort, right? They will look at thousands of hours of irrefutable evidence of sheer effort, and still come up with some bullshit excuse to be like, well, the fact that he could even start just goes to show he had a talent for starting. That's my interpretation of any retard that talks ill of me, right? I simply just assume that you have a gay alien voice, as the youngins call it. But anyways, back to visualizing. I'm not even gonna ghost anymore because like I just want to pure visualize, see all this. So again, I'll obviously explain, right? I'm trying to see through the form. I'm trying to see through the seeing the invisible XYZ axis. Also, this is a bad habit of mine to go so fast, right? So I gotta go slower, right? Trying to see the invisible XYZ axis, right? I'm trying to, again, zoom out, see every single diagonal cross section that exists, right? This is very difficult because I already taxed my brain earlier, and now I'm trying to see the three center planes, right? And dude, I'm actually getting better at seeing all three center planes. Not at the same time, but the fact that like I'm getting so much quicker. Look at this. It feels like forever, but it's really only been 25 hours, right, of seeing these three center planes. Like, and I've already feel like I'm objectively just getting much faster at visualizing them individually and visualizing them in succession after each other, and visualizing them as a chunked unit with many gaps and with many like flickers and blurs and divergences, of course, occurring. Like lots of errors there. right? But like the fact of the matter is like it is getting faster, and like visualizing it while still keeping the diagonal cross section in mind. That's tricky because I have to remind myself to do that. A lot of the times you have to remind yourself of the mistakes that you're making, right? That's another part of learning. That's what learning feels like, which is why it's an active focus, which is why focus is a skill. Like how many times do I say I'm getting distracted, or I lost it, or because I was talking about something else I completely lost it? Like it's a skill. These are all skills, right? But anyways, like I'm trying to visualize the 3 center planes, right? And it's extremely difficult because this center plane right here is going like this. Like, I guess let me just point out, like this one, right? This one, the center plane that is in this perspective, it's doing this. Like it's just completely fucking wrong, right? And then the horizontal one, I can barely see the back, but it was doing this, and now it's more accurate and it's doing this, right? So, and I'm not even seeing like the front plane one, but when I do, it's doing this. This one's pretty good. Yeah, this one's pretty good, right? And then obviously, again, at the same time, I'm trying to calculate the center lines for it all, right? Okay, so let's try to, again, like lean in, try to see. And again, like when I tried to see through the box, immediately this back line, this back X went that way. It just went that way. And I have to be like, wait, no, go this way, stop, connect, go this way. And that takes a fuck ton of effort to do, right? To correct the direction of your incorrect projection, right? Your visualization, your calculation. That is energy. That your brain is using energy to correct, and it's why you feel good about the mistakes that it's making, and you feel good, and you just put the energy towards correcting it, right? Like you always just feel good about the mistakes that you make. Like that's the only way for your brain to be spotlighting, right? For acetylcholine to be spotlighting, for norepinephrine to be enhancing the stress for that spotlight. This might be bro science, but the point is like those two chemicals along with dopamine create a nice little concoction where it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, positive self-fulfilling prophecy feedback loop of error recognition, correction in the background while you sleep, right? And constantly just enjoying the process. Like you're literally training yourself to enjoy learning. And I'm gonna assume, right? Very, very, very bad of me to assume, but I'm gonna assume that you want to enjoy learning. Like I'm gonna assume that. But I'm also gonna assume that you're willing to put in the effort to enjoy learning. Right, so two assumptions, and the second one is going to be much more telling of you, right, than anybody else. Is this like, okay, do I actually want to enjoy learning? Because like this sounds like it's a lot of fucking effort. Well, no shit. Did you think it was gonna be easy, right? Did anybody think this was gonna be easy? I did. I thought it would be a lot easier, and then it wasn't, and I had to completely change my entire fucking approach to learning, and here we are now, right? I had to change the texture of my mind over hundreds of hours. I had to completely change myself as a human being in the way I thought, in order for me plus enjoying learning to be a reality, right? That goes to show how many of us are fucked in our mentality and how many of us don't understand how to actually enjoy learning. By the way, I haven't been able to see the fucking center lines, the diagonal, vertical, and horizontal center lines for the 3 cross axes, 3 center planes at all, sorry, not cross axes, right? Because I've been struggling so much just to see through the form, but I need to really push. This is where I need to really fucking push. I'm just gonna push through. I'm gonna try to see everything all at once, right? And I can't, but I'm constantly like shifting between them. Like I'm trying to see this vertical center plane and it's vertical, horizontal, and diagonal cross axis. So I'm trying to see this center plane and all of that shit. I'm trying to see this horizontal center plane and all of that, right? It's hard to explain everything I'm thinking about, but because I'm at a point now where I'm actually thinking about so much at once that my mouth literally can't, right? My mouth can't even fucking keep up with what I'm thinking about. But just know that I'm constantly oscillating, and it's beautiful discomfort, and I'm constantly making the mistake. Like I'm not able to calculate the diagonal cross section while I'm making the center plane go through, so I have to be aware of that. Be like, no, don't do it intuitively, actually see it going through, right? Actually literally see it going through. But that forces me to slow down, which is good and takes energy, but at the same time, there you go. That burp is still fucking coming out, Jesus Christ. But it forces me, at the same time, it means that I lose the other center planes. Center planes? Oh yeah, sure, you put them up, sure, you fucking Nixon. But like it forces me to like it literally, because I'm using energy on that and just being sure like I'm accurately going through these lines, like it does force me to it does result in the other calculations being completely lost, right? But I'm just trying to hold this to the best of my ability. I'm just trying to hold these center planes, and now I'm trying to see the vertical, horizontal, diagonal cross sections inside every single center plane. And like I can barely do this. I want to say like I'm trying to do it, but it's like 10% if that, right? Like just not even just like seeing them, but holding it together while seeing them, right? And now I'm trying to see the ellipses. And now I'm going to try to create the fucking sphere, right? And that is the true difficulty of this task, right? Let's see, something like this. Something like this. There you go. Something like this. Let's just say, and now I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna rest my brain because that was extremely difficult, and I basically was in complete output regression, which is beautiful. I just forced myself to feel good again. Again, like I just keep forcing myself to feel good. And now I'm gonna, oh shit, it's been an hour, fuck. So now I'm going to rest my brain, and then we're just gonna draw this woman's face, right? We're just gonna do what we can. So please rest your brain with me. We will try to fucking see the entire schema while we do this. Right, and that's gonna be very difficult because I guarantee, like, I'm gonna do my best, but it's gonna be lost like this once I start actually drawing features and like focusing on the minutia of making sure proportion and placement, like the features and where they're located and this and then everything surrounding that, and like the fact that they're also 3D forms. Like that's a whole nother thing to think about, right? But anyways, let me rest my brain. I encourage you to do the same. Okay, let's do it to it. Goofy movie, right? Goofy movie. I actually watched the original Goofy movie with my girlfriend a couple of weeks ago. She doesn't remember anything, so she was like shocked when all the funny shit was happening. And just like, it's just a good movie, good story, good writing, good animation, funny characters and all that shit, right? So she was just like, what the fuck? I don't remember this at all. But fuck, I got distracted. Is this the right pen? This is not the right pen. Oh shit, it's the other pen. I literally just switched pens only for it to be the same one again. This is... Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the right pen. Okay, so again, try to visualize, try to consolidate everything, see it all as it is, like especially this center plane. I'm trying to see it, right? And then I'm trying to see like, you see how I went this way? That's diagonal, that's wrong. So I need to see the center plane accurately. There you go. This one, and then we have to think about the ellipse, or like the diagonal cross sections inside of it, right? And this vertical, this horizontal, and this is basically roughly where my edge of the head is, right? So this is my center line, like right around here. And I'll see this better, of course, as time goes on. But right now, I'm telling you right now, I can't see shit because I am going to be consistently distracting my focus. Right? I want to be very clear. Like my focus is going to be consistently impeded. Distracted maybe wasn't like the best word choice, but it's going to be consistently impeded by the fact that I have to look at this person's face. Like purely just by the fact that I have to keep looking at the portrait reference. Right? Let's not forget that. Like that is a distractor, right? The fact that I have to keep looking at a portrait reference, I have to think about the proportion, I have to think about where everything fits, I have to think about the fact that this is like a genuine, like this is a form, this exists in 3D space on top of this, right? So I am constantly trying to think about, let's see, like where everything sits, like I am to the best of my ability, but this is incredibly difficult, right? And like when I get the chance, the few times I get the opportunity to rest my brain, which I never do, right, when I'm drawing, but the few times I do get that opportunity, I am trying to think about the, like I'm trying to think about the box, but right now I can't. I literally fucking cannot, right? Like I genuinely just fucking can't because I'm too busy. Yeah, I'm just way too fucking focused on getting these features right. Like, and thinking about it in terms of 3 dimensions. And it's difficult. It's very difficult because like right now I'm so focused on just filling this in, I can barely see through the box. And that's it. Not all the other fuckeries, just seeing through the box, by the way. Just seeing through the box, right? Extremely difficult. And I'm also like, it's basically a combination of thinking about the face, the features, the proportions, the placements, the relative accuracy, and then as well as the fact that they are 3D formed, thinking about their three-dimensionality, and then trying to be like, oh, it's still placed on a fucking Loomis head. Like, what the fuck? It's so difficult, right? And trying to think about the sphere throughout all of this is incredibly difficult, right? But I guess what I can do is just vaguely be like, this is my sphere, because it is a perfect circle, right? And then this be like, okay, that's my forehead, that makes sense, forehead, bottom of the nose, and this is the bottom of the sphere. Okay, that kind of works out, right? Like, to think about the Loomis proportions in and of itself while doing this is nigh impossible. Nigh actually means dog in my language, which is pretty funny. But it's not funny at all. Like, funny in the sense of like, haha, random thing that kind of doesn't really relate, but just felt like saying, right? So if you ever want to insult somebody in Tamil, right, call them a nai. You know, think about it as Nai, right, or Nye, right? Be like, you're a fucking nai, bro, and they'd be like, what? Like, I called you a filthy animal, and they'd be like, oh, okay, I guess, right? But anyways, like, yeah, I'm just looking at the portrait reference right now, and I'm really trying to think about, because this girl has like really interesting lips. These are some really very, 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 probably the most lip-like lips I've seen. in terms of just, she also has a much smaller chin. Like, she actually has a small chin, right? So, that adds to it as well, because that means her proportions aren't quote-unquote perfect Loomis proportions, right? Like, she actually just has a very, much like my girlfriend, right? You know, you know, like fucking shiny teeth. I made that like little bit, and she finds it hilarious, and I find it hilarious because I'm the one who came up with it, right? But either way, like I have not been able to see through the form, but I'm trying to they could see, like, everything's going to shit. My fucking speech especially. I'm trying to take a step back, and I'm trying to, while I draw this, and it's very difficult, but while I draw this, I'm trying to visualize the seen through box. And at the very least, I'm trying to visualize the seen through box, because everything else is extremely difficult right now. Let's see. This is her fucking hands resting on her chin, so it makes it look a lot more squishy than it actually is. And I struggle with drawing curved chins in general, of course, right? But let's see. Like, yeah, I am genuinely am trying to see the entirety of the schema, but I'm telling you, like, it's just, if it's basically, I don't like using the word impossible, but it's so strenuous and so difficult that, especially because I am focusing on, I'm constantly looking back. So I need, what I am trying to train myself is to keep, every time I like look at the reference and I look back here, right, to just train myself to, oh, I made that eye too big, so I gotta make it a little bit bigger here. Just train myself to be like, okay, like, try to see through some part of the form, right? Like, just try to see through some part of it. But this is good, like, because I'm building my ability to concentrate as well while I see through the form, right? And I didn't give her any pupil, so she looks like she's fucking soulless now. But let's see, she has quite the chubby face too, so let's and because I don't understand the form of the face, it's just kind of like, this is just purely just kind of guesswork, is like, is that how it connects? But now I have to think about the ear. So this is beautiful because I get to take a step back, and be like, okay, where is the ear located? And now I'm thinking about the three center planes, right? Thinking about the three center planes and the ellipses inside those center planes, right? And I'm essentially, like, this is forcing me to take a step back and just think about the box. And the ear's like right around here somewhere, right? Wait, hold up. Yeah, like, it's right around here somewhere. So that is beautiful. Oh, that is correct. That is obviously correct. This is the fucking angle, right? This is the angle. So that makes sense. That is good, right? And let's see if we can get her jaw in as well. And let's see. It's the ear. What's the she has like a little double, right? That's what I call double chins. But there you go. Something like that. I mean, her chin could have been better, but that's roughly it. And then her neck is like right here. Right, and then she has she has like long hair, but we're not gonna do the hair. This is okay. This is actually pretty decent. But, and let me just do this as well. There you go. That's like the lips, right? That's the philtrum. Okay. Is there anything else? No, I'm not trying to add too much shading or whatever, right? Maybe I could fill this out a little bit better. Again, like it's so hard to think about anything apart from drawing the face in terms of three-dimensionality when like that's all I can think about. Oh, she has earrings. Why don't we be a bit? Why don't we be a bit kind and give her those earrings? There you go. Right. But anyways, like yeah, that's how everything fits for now. Seemingly okay. An hour and 14. Jesus Christ. So let's just fill the rest of this in. Right. Oh fuck yeah! I dropped my pen again. God damn it, bro. When I am big and famous, and when there are 500 billion subscribers on this channel, right, the legacy of the drop pen will ring true and far across the land. Across the land, sir. But let's see. I'm gonna have to constantly be thinking about the perspective. Yeah, like, yeah, my lines do suffer quite a bit. But there you go. That's basically this. And then we draw this diagonal cross section, right? And I still struggle with, I still struggle immensely with connecting lines. I want to be very clear. Like even the most basic of skills, I struggle with, right? And just because it's basic doesn't mean it's easy. I want to be very clear. Basic of skills does not mean easy of skills. And that's another thing that beginners get wrong is it's all pride. It's all pride. Never forget, it's all fucking pride. You think you should be able to do something you can't do simply because you can conceptualize the ease of it. Or like you can conceptualize the supposed ease of it without realizing the realistic difficulty of the task, right? So like it's not easy, right? But this is where beginners go wrong as well. As like, okay, good job, you thought it would be easy. That means nothing in the face of reality. Like that literally means nothing. Like your thoughts, throw them in the fucking trash. So you have to go over that. But like literally throw them in the fucking trash. They're useless. They're fucking garbage. Your thoughts mean nothing. Only your actions mean anything. Right? Like it doesn't matter if you think that it should be easy, or if you think that you should be able to get it, or you think that you shouldn't have to spend hundreds of hours on it, right? The reality is yes, yes, and yes. As in yes, it is much harder than you think. Yes, it will take longer than you think, and yes, it will take more energy than you ever could have fathomed to even conceptualize, let alone apply while conceptualizing, right? So I think like, and this isn't just beginner artists, this is all skill acquisition, because everything is skill acquisition. Let's be very clear. Everything is skill acquisition. All right. Once you just start displacing yourself from the word talent, you're doing yourself a complete benefit, which is you're not a retard, right? You're not an absolute fucking dipshit. You're not a moron. You're not being held back by words that do nothing to serve you, right? Like, yes, you might know somebody who's like, oh, they learned this a lot faster than me. Guess what? Go ask them what the fuck they focus on. Ask them what they did. Ask them what they pay attention to. Can you do any of that? The answer is yes, you can, because you're capable of it, right? Use it as a means of curiosity. There obviously will always be infinite amount of people better than you. And 40 years from now, when I reach mastery, right? When I'm like, oh, watch me become great. He did it. He did the thing, right? There'll still be people 100 times better than me. And I will look at them and be like, hey, what behaviors are you emitting? What are you thinking about? How are you approaching this? Not, you're so talented. I could never do that. How the fuck does that serve you, right? Like, and you probably have behaviors that others look at, and you most definitely actually have behaviors that others will look at and be like, like how are they conceptualizing this, right? Again, what do I have that I know for sure that I was just born with the predisposition to? Patience, right? Patience. The ability to delay gratification was something I was born with, and I know that as a fact because look at my channel, right? Like, and you know, I got jacked because I was able to just think about my 10-year body rather than my fucking current body, right? I got what's it called? I've gotten this far and learning anything, like learning art, learning design, learning like I mean by UX design, not art design, like learning anything. It's purely because I've had the ability to A, delay gratification, and then B, just do the actions that result in that delayed gratification having meaning, right? i.e. like doing the work, right? So that is my quote unquote talent. But is it a talent or is it a series of behaviors that I had a slight proclivity towards and I happened to capitalize on when the opportunity presented itself, right? Same with people who, like, again, my friend's girlfriend, she's also my friend. I don't know why I keep saying friend's girlfriend, I guess because that is how I initially viewed her, but it's been 15 years. I need to get over it. But my friend, she, oh fuck, like I don't even know what the fuck I'm seeing here right now. But my friend, she is really fucking good at drawing proportions, reference, everything, like accurately, like really fucking good at that, right? So what does she have a proclivity towards? What does she have an affinity towards? She has an affinity towards being able to retain proportion. But when I ask her, and she's fucking ass, like the thing is, vast majority of people aren't even aware of the behaviors that they're doing, right? So she is absolute fucking dog shit at explaining what she's thinking about. And I mean genuine garbage, like human garbage, objectively, right? And I'm not even saying this to be mean, I'm saying this because I hate her, right? But like she's fucking awful at explaining what she's thinking about, right? Because for many people, it is automatic. The reason this channel exists is I'm getting rid of the automaticity, right? We are removing the mystery, the myth behind learning, right? It is just sheer intentional repetitions with many things in the mind going on at the same time, with the attempt to consolidate those things at the same time and failing to, and then feeling good about it, and then consistently trying again, right? But she's asked at explaining herself. But when I do ask her, when I push her, and I'm like, hey, what do you actually think about? What do you actually think about? It always just comes down to, oh, I'm really trying to focus on like making sure that the line weight and the relations between the things that I'm drawing and like the proportion and like it's accurate, and she's constantly measuring. She's focusing really fucking hard. She's even always mentioning, she's like, oh, it's so difficult. I'm focusing so hard, right? But what does everybody around us say? Oh, they're just jerking off me like talent, 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 right? And she likes being called talented. Many people like being called talented. They like thinking that they don't try. I'm the absolute opposite. I would rather my work ethic and my consistency be praised, because those things I can control, not some supposed talent, which I know I put 1,000 hours into having this talent, should be like, you're so talented. It's like, shut the fuck up. Shut the absolute fuck up. So if you're a beginner, shut up and do the work, right? That you're capable of. I want to be very clear. You're capable of doing that work, right? Oh my god, this is gonna give me a fucking headache, bro. It's already an hour and 20 minutes. This is also the part where I need to shut the fuck up and just be like, just see through the form. Just see through the form, my guy. It is not so difficult. Just see through the form, right? So, and like this is obviously, and this is like me drawing through the planes. Again, right? By the way, this is the scheme I'm building. Like, this is what I'm actively trying to see all at once, right? So, now we draw the ellipses. Holy shit! Holy shit. I know, I can't believe this is gonna be an hour and a half video. No wonder nobody watches. Right? But, yeah, let's just draw the ellipses, right? And, let's see, let's start with this one. And this is why these center lines exist, because they exist to give me a means of creating a decent ellipse, which I didn't do here at all. Holy fuck me, bro. Yeah, I didn't do that at all, because this is actually supposed to be a lot wider. So, I too can make mistakes. I'm just like you, for real, right? So that was like a pretty mediocre ellipse. Let's try this one, right? Let's see. It should actually probably be more like this. Yeah, like I'm really struggling to see how to draw these ellipses, because, dude, my mind, like I don't even know where the fuck any of this is. I have no idea where it is. So I'm making a lot of mistakes, but I have no idea where any of this is. Oh. This is why I need to be able to see through the schema. Right, and like actually, it's just a fuckery all around. Like it's whatever. It's just, I made a bunch of mistakes. We deal with it. Fuck it, we ball, right? And in this case, we ball by completely ignoring our mistakes. Just move on. Right? This is completely wrong. I think it should have been more like that. There you go. So actually, okay, I did place the face pretty incorrectly, and then now we have to think about how the sphere is here, bars. And I think this one is also like pretty incorrect. Maybe could have been a bit better. Probably should have been down there, but like you can see I'm struggling quite a bit to even like connect the sphere. So like, yeah, this is like awful. This is generally like just an awful interpretation of, because like, dude, there's so much to fucking think about, and like all these lines are fucking with me. But the point is, whatever, ta-da, like this is the scheme I'm trying to build. Really struggling with it, and yeah, I'm gonna just keep trying. Just keep trying, right? It's the ellipses intersection with the sphere encompassing it that I struggle with. But anyways, it's been an hour and fucking half. Okay, anyways, or almost, but yeah, with that being said, I hope you really tried a lot. I hope you put a lot of effort in. And as always, right, rest your brain after this. Rest your brain. I'm gonna do the same. Fucking, I need to stop, bro. My brain is so tired. Anyways, as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please give me money.